Hi everyone, I want to start a whole new series where I'm talking about this amazing martial arts system and sports called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I had a chance, I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since 2001, and I want to talk about how I started and what my observation have been. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has grown a lot since 2001. It grew in like a sports where not a lot of people knew about it to now it's like one of the fastest growing sports, and it's allowing martial art instructors who are black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to basically earn a very good living. So I started the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back in 2001. I started doing judo in 2000, and at the age of 27, I was probably around 135 pounds. So I was not a very big guy, and judo was brutal. I mean, I was doing judo at the Metro YMCA in Toronto, and I got thrown around by bigger guys. And let's just say I'm a white belt. I'm 5'4", 135 pounds. I go against another white belt who's like maybe 5'8", 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, 190 pounds, 200 pounds. Every night it was a struggle. And I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when I got to around green belt. So that was about maybe a year and a half of training. So I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu around 2000. I really enjoyed the ground portion of judo. So judo basically it's divided into two ways of training. You have Tachi-Waza, which is the stand-up portion of judo, and then you have Ne-Waza, which is the ground portion of judo. And I got really proficient at the ground fighting. I felt very comfortable on my back. That's one of the first thing I got really good at, was fighting off my back, because I was getting thrown around, and we would split the class time in half, where we would do like Tachi-Waza, stand-up portion, and Ne-Waza. And so I wanted to get better in my Ne-Waza, and I really enjoyed the fighting on the ground portion of it. So one of my friends told me about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he told me about this club in downtown Toronto. He told me it was behind a candy store. So I seeked it out. I went to Queen Street in Toronto, and I went to inside the candy store, and I asked, and basically they told me I had to go around the alleyway. So I was really excited. So basically, these three martial instructors, one of the guy was repairs motorbike, and he would roll the mats out, and he would move the motorbikes into the alleyway and roll the mats, and then we would just train in his garage. And at that time, I think those three instructors were like purple belt, very close to brown belts, and I was really excited. I think I did maybe 2 months of training there. I also did a lot of training where I would go and just meet up with different people. I would go to community centers. I didn't have a lot of money back then. I would go to community centers, and I would just grapple with different people. I watched a lot of VHS tape. Back then, there was no Google. DVD was very hard to come by. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was like a subculture. There wasn't even rash guard. The rash guard was so hard to come by. I had to go to a surfing store to buy rash guard to save some money. You couldn't just order it online. People didn't make rash guard for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There was no like major companies back then yet. Anyways, I'm going to start a whole new series where I'm talking about how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu have changed so much, and I'm going to compare Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to Judo, where Judo has been on the decline and can't seem to get the traction, the popularity, the growth of of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm going to analyze that. I'm going to talk about it from the sense of like fashion. I'm going to talk from the sense of branding. I'm going to talk about it from the sense of user experience. So it's going to be very interesting. I hope to shoot 1 video, 2 video a week, analyzing the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and what we can learn from it, from a marketing perspective, from understanding how someone look at the martial art and why most people pick Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over Judo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over something else. So getting back to my experience in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm currently a purple belt, 3 stripes. I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since 2001. I'm second degree in Judo. So most of my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's self-taught. I'm old school BJJ. Like I read a lot of books back then, and that's what I gravitate to. For the last 17 years, I run my own MMA gym, and so my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu I teach is more like a blend of judo, wrestling, and just like MMA, where we're trying to win. And when we hit the ground, we're attacking our opponent with very basic submissions. Nothing really crazy, no sport Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu like movement or setup, because those things will allow you to get punched in the head. We focus a lot on takedowns, focus a lot on wrestling. Anyways, we can analyze and talk about that some other time. I'm more interested in talking about the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how it's changed a lot, and why it is possible that a martial instructor can earn a living teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu nowadays. Okay, I also want to talk about how fast the sport has grown. Back then, if you saw someone with cauliflower ears and someone said they did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you thought it was the coolest thing, because not a lot of people do it. You know what I mean? So the sport has changed so much. I want to talk about the gis, how it's different from back then to nowadays, and how it's different from judo. I want to talk about the branding. I want to talk about the website the most BJJ instructors have compared to judo instructors. I'm also looking for partnership. I am kind of stuck in my own little world, in my own little town where I run an MMA gym. And so if you're a BJJ instructor who needs a website, need branding, need creative consulting, whatever, maybe we can partner up, and we can work together, and you can help me out and I can help you out. Anyways, I want to shoot this series of video where I will be talking about user experience, feedback loop, the branding and marketing of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the growth of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and why Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is so effective, and why people love it, why it's like people are addicted to it. I want to talk about how people, how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is now like a status symbol, where if someone gets a black belt, they're so excited, you know what I mean, and they tell everyone about it. Anyways, guys, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a very, very interesting martial arts system, sports. I'm very happy I discovered it at the age of 27. I'm 50 years old now, and I probably will do it till the day I die. It's one of those martial art system where you can train, and it requires a lot of physicality. At the same time, it doesn't, because the way the martial arts system, the system is designed, it's very, very sophisticated. At the same time, it can be very athletically driven. And like most martial arts, unlike judo, for example, judo requires a lot of athleticism to execute a throw, and so this is why you see some of the older judokas who are injured. They can't really train the sport as much, and then they start getting out of shape. You see white belts in judo who are not very athletic, because it takes the learning curve is so steep. Anyways, guys, please follow me. I'm going to shoot this very, very interesting series where I'm going to cover things that most people don't talk about.